All right, Texas in the Xfinity car. I'm actually going to raise my steering offset here. Let's go +8. Definitely not the same 0 or +2 that I'm used to having in these cars where the wheel's straight. It's more like this +8, +10, somewhere around there. Steering ratio 16:1, just comfort base. Could even go lower if you want. Like, I don't care about steering ratio. Don't read into that too much. Brake bias somewhere in that 60 range. We're only going to be using a little bit of brake for trail braking into turn 1, so you just want it low, but not too low to where if you have to get on the brakes to avoid a wreck, it's going to spin you out. So somewhere around that 60 range is kind of where you're getting pretty much everything you need from the trail brake, but it's not doing too much for you in terms of hurting your braking performance in case of emergency. Gonna be a second lap hot lap here. We don't really have the heat or grip in the tires until that second lap. You can see I'm going to try to get aggressive here in 3 and 4, and the car's just going to want to slide up right there on exit. That's not going to be the case when we have heat in our tires, so we can have that same aggression. Here's the line. It's not going to be perfectly good yet. I'm just going to get to the bottom early and then just try to roll the car around the bottom and then full throttle as soon as I can start unloading the wheel. Get the car coming up the hill. Really want to keep that rear tire under you, or else it's going to lose you a lot of momentum. And then we just run 3 and 4 as if we were running it in our actual lap, because the top of Texas 3 and 4 isn't really going to get you much. It's already a pretty good lap there, but we can definitely do better. I'm going to dive a little bit deeper into this corner here. Roll the corner. And then really be careful about that right rear stepping out here. Give it a little pump just to make sure that I wasn't losing the rear. Still turned out pretty well. I'm going to try to drive deeper into this corner a little bit more. Still want to land on the bottom here. And then back into full throttle. Let the car rotate into full throttle. Pump out the throttle a little bit if it starts to slide up a little too early, but that's completely fine. Good lap there. That should be a decent example for you guys. Depending on the track temp, I think this is a bit cooler of a track, just what it generated off the schedule. So I think it can definitely get hotter than this. Like, what is this? Somewhere in the... Okay, 115 is still pretty hot. But if this was in like the 120s or 130s, expect quite a bit slower times. So let's take a look at that lap real quick. So see, the run-up is just me running a normal line here. The top doesn't do anything for a run-up here. So I just approach it the same, but we'll go over how to approach that in the actual lap. And let me turn this a bit down. That might have been a little annoying for the lap. I apologize. So I'm going to get out of the gas fairly early here, because if you dive too deep into the corner, you don't stick to the bottom. You don't rotate along the bottom. You just kind of get there and immediately slide back up. And what you want to avoid at Texas 1 and 2 is getting to the bottom early and then also starting the slide back up the track early. That's what you want to avoid. I like getting to the bottom early as opposed to super wide arcing it into the corner. That's a tire saving thing, but I find that it just helps my rhythm for qual lap 2. You might be able to lab this out a bit faster, going wider and late apexing the corner, but I find that Texas 2 is such a wide exit that I don't need to roll the bottom for very long before I can just drive full throttle straight back up the track. And you can see I'm pedaling a little bit there. It looks like I might need to recalibrate my pedals a bit. I just moved, so I definitely will do that. But it looks like I'm hitting pretty much what I need to hit. So we'll just go along with that. So 3 and 4, just a little lift as you're dropping into the banking. Lift as you're dropping into the banking, and then once you're settled there, just try that full throttle. If you start sliding up the track immediately under full throttle, bail, do another lift there. But if you are not sliding up the track immediately, just commit to it. I apologize for anyone who is bugged by my throttle trace there. I did not realize I lost a bit of range there, but it looks like it's still going. Ah, that's full. Full. Ah, full. That's for all intents and purposes. That's full throttle. Don't worry about it. I'll change it in a bit. Okay. So for a long run here, 3 and 4, I really love lifting before we drop into the corner, just like I did in the hot lap. And that's kind of a good example of why hot lap and long run should not always have to be a different approach. I really like early, like sometimes I probably even went too wide there. I'll show you next lap another technique. I kind of just remembered that it existed. But staying low as long as you can and not shredding your car up the track, that's really nice here. Early lift here, hit back in the throttle. Losing a little bit of time. I can probably push that a little bit harder, but I'm just really making sure that I'm not sliding the car ever. Okay, what this is like the pro line, where it's like, why even cut down the track if it's gonna really hurt your tires? So I take like a 1/10 punishment, but in return I just have the smoothest 1 and 2. And that's compared to like that qual lap I just ran, right? So it's like that's completely viable in race, especially in the Xfinity cars. Trucks, it can be viable. Old ARCA car, it was viable. Oops, I messed up. New ARCA car, I doubt it's viable. So stay low, just cut all this out, and then just roll the bottom. Be patient, and then just drive the car up the track at the end. Oops. See, that's what you don't want to do. This Xfinity car lands on the right rear quite a bit. So you'll end up being in a situation where you have to actually take care of your right rear tire. And when you do that, it just means no sliding. So just being disciplined with your throttle points and all that. I was a little bit more sliding than I wanted to as well. Let's get one more good lap under us here. Never mind. I glanced down at something and hit the grass. Nice. I need to be on the brake for longer there. We really want to roll the bottom. I'll do another lap so that I have a good example for you guys. That first lap that I did was a very good example, but here I can definitely feel that I'm shredding right rear tire quite a bit just because of my amount of unnecessary sliding. Being a little bit more patient here in 3 and 4 allows me to get a much better exit on the right rear there. That was a lot better. So staying low here, rolling into the corner, making sure to land right on the white, not sliding up at all. That's a little bit more sliding than I wanted, but the line was right. It was just me hopping on the gas too early. Then here, a little bit more patient. Might have to start trail braking eventually into the run here quite a bit. And then just making sure I'm not sliding up the track. That was pretty poor. I thought that I could get the car pinned back down, but it didn't follow. And that's what you gotta be careful of. So not mashing the gas too hard in turn 3 and 4. Really, both corners, you just want to make best friends with the white line and not try to slide up until at least the final quarter of the corner. Really try to be disciplined in when you let the car slide up the track. All right, thank you all for watching. Hope you have a wonderful day. Hope to see you all on the track.